Welcome to the Empowered Women's Prosperity Party. I'm your host, Rosie Aiello, and we are so glad that you're here because we're here to help empower you so that you can have more fun and make more money in your business. And we're bringing some of the top women in business and one fun and amazing man who are really rocking it and having fun while making money and making a big impact in the world. And we're here to introduce them to you so you can learn their strategies. And I have the privilege today to introduce to you one outstanding, fun-loving, energized woman who is really rocking it, Tena Pettis. And she is just an amazing woman. She is a social media expert, an accomplished speaker, and trainer in all things social media. She founded Tenacious, a social media management and design firm. She's known for building connections both on and offline and is a strong advocate of consumer-focused loyalty and relationship-based sales. Boy, is that huge. Tena believes in creating a strong brand presence for your business. She's a mom of 3, a business owner, and a leader within her community. So please welcome. So thank you. Join us in welcoming Tena. How are you? So glad you're here.
Doing awesome. It's so fun to listen to other people share your bio. You know, as you write those things, you sometimes don't realize, you know, I'm going to be sitting here while someone introduces me and I have to hear that over and over again, but I love it. It's like,
You're
yeah,
awesome.
that is who I am.
Welcome to the party. Yes, you are. You're an amazing woman. That's why you're here.
I love it. Well, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
So tell us, what is your purpose and passion? How did you get into this? What made you become the social media expert?
Yeah, so I think your purpose and passion has to change a little bit or else it gets dry, right? So when I first started out, my passion was based around small business owners. And I knew when Facebook came out with business pages, there was almost no way that they were going to be able to wear that hat and learn how to tweet and like all these different things. And so really we wanted to take over social media for businesses so that they could have the time to be able to do their thing, what they do, their business. And it has evolved because of the types of people that we're working with now. And so my really big focus right now is working with personality-driven business owners that are primarily female and, some males sprinkled in, kind of like this party we're having, but we really when we're working with these personality-driven business owners and why women is because I heard this stat and it just, it kills me, is that only 2% of women-owned businesses have hit $1 million. Mm-hmm. And I'm not like you got to hit 7-figure type of person, but the fact that there's even a stat out there like that, and it is so incredibly low, it just bugs me. And so that now my purpose is turned into how can I help women put money in the bank in their business. And so right now on trend is this whole social selling. And that's what I've been saying from the beginning. This isn't just awareness. This is how can we get people from here to your bank account and build relationships, all about that. I'm not just about the dollar, but we're in business to make money.
That's right. That's right.
So it's important. Yep. So so I got lots of cash.
I love that. And I'm like, women with personality, it makes a difference, right? Because we're out there and while we want to we have to manage our time, but the fact is we are in business, we're entrepreneurs. And that's exactly the point of having this party. I mean, a lot of business gets transacted at parties, and that's one of the reasons we're doing it here is to really share really practical advice to help you grow your business. And one of the ways that's important to grow a business is still having fun or creating that fun in your business. So Tena, how do you have fun or create fun in your business? Share some our party goers can take away.
Yes. So one of the things is having a party all by yourself isn't really all that fun. So including other people into your team. And I have found that fun for me was adding team members, to adding people that believed in my why, my passion, and to be, part of what I'm doing. And not just, having maybe a VA, and I know sometimes we're at that stage in our business. I get it. You're not at that stage to totally bring someone on. Then create an event or a time that you get together with other business owners when it's just you guys talking about your business. Like that is fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds crazy. We're just networking is fun, but that is the piece. Like I have to have that part in my life. And when other people share in my why and my passion, whether it be a mentor or someone that I network with or someone on my team, that's what I need. So that's one thing. And I know that isn't totally like, practical for every single person to add someone on their team to understand their why. But the second piece too is I do a ton of self care, I guess. So, I mean, I work out with my trainer. I do, I get facials. I go in and get my hair done and spend a lot of time in there, not just, you can't really tell today, but, but
gorgeous.
I actually did just get my hair done yesterday, but now that's why it goes in a bun. But, so, I spend time in there. I get to know, obviously my stylist, my esthetician and all that kind of stuff, but spending that quality time on myself. And I do it during business hours because I know that my business needs me to be taking care of myself. And so that has been super helpful for me to really stay focused in my business and to have fun all the time. So I'm refreshed coming in and not just drained all the time. Work. So
I love that because
those are a couple of things.
So easy, actually, both of them, because I think as women, first of all, just going to your first point is that, it's important to work together. We cannot build our businesses alone. And when you create that team and really getting the people who support you. So whether you're weak, they're strong, and then they can kind of guide you. And the self-care, I love what you share, because how many times women just put themselves at the bottom of the list? How many women are not even on the list? And how can we give if we're not taking care of ourselves? And to remember, I love, you're just, what you shared is just such, remember women, to do what Tena is doing, to take care.
And how many times have we heard that? Yeah. How many times have we heard that? Like people say this all the time and it kind of just goes over our head. And it wasn't until I was working with my business coach, Ursula Mentes, about this. And she says, so where do you have scheduled in time for you? And I was like, well, I have time for me all the time. Like I'm always at work and I'm away from my kids all the time. And I'm at this conference and I'm doing this. And she's like, no, like really time for just you. And so I was like, okay, I seriously that day, I called up Emily, my esthetician. I was like, let's book out 3 appointments. So I just had it on my schedule and it was there rather than, trying to fit it in when I can. And then also I don't have the mom guilt of, maybe Saturday morning going out and getting my hair done. I'll do it during the work day, the work time. Mm-hmm. So I don't, like that mom guilt. I know if, for the moms out there, you totally understand, like when you're with your kids, you want to be with your kids, and you want to give them your full attention. And when we work, you don't get to do that all the time. So
I love that because, that you're taking it out of quote unquote work time. Of course, as an entrepreneur, you can define whenever your work is, right? And there's
right.
the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It can be 9 to 5, from 9 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning if you want. You can do whatever your fancy. But I love that because that means, the better you take care of yourself, the more you can serve others better. You're more fully present. You're really caring. You can listen better. You're more productive. It helps in so many ways that I think women don't think about. And I love the message that you're sharing. And I know I could use a little reminder in that area too.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Do it during the work time. Usually I don't have small kids. My daughter is older. Kill me for years. Oh, mom told me I'm old. But I thank you for being that reminder for all of us. Now, I want to ask you, what is like one or a couple of your top money making, maybe the best or the fastest or the easiest money making strategy that you can share with our illustrious party goers here, or taking notes on every word you're saying?
Yeah. So a couple things. I go through my marketing list on a really regular basis and look to see what is really making me the most money, from, webinars to podcasts to speaking to social media postings to opt-ins to everything. And we looked at, okay, what was in the last 6 months, what was the number one thing that brought us in the most money? And it's actually pretty shocking. So we have a course called Fall in Love with Twitter. And once you create a course, most of the time it's created, it's done, and you can sell it over and over and over again. Well, when we first created it, of course, you're like super pumped and excited about it, and you sell a bunch of them, and then that kind of wanes, and then now you want to create something new. And what I found is when I go back to something that I created, I created this course in 2013, and we still make money on it today. And we updated, of course, because Twitter changes or Facebook changes. And so we do updates to it, but I've brought it back kind of out into the open to be like, hey, this is a course we have. We now run it every month instead of, jumping in it just when you want. So my point is, the thing that we did in February to kind of relaunch and spark our excitement for it is this course is $197, and we sold it for $14 for 14 days right around Valentine's Day. It makes sense because it's fall in love with Twitter. So we took one of our products that we know is tried and true. We have a ton of great testimonials, knocked down the price, obviously considerably, and used it as more of a way to build our email list. And, $14, basically how I was looking at it is, of course, people are, going to get a ton of value out of this course, and they have. But the way I was looking at it is people are basically paying me $14 to add to my email list. Mm-hmm. That's what it kind of comes down to, So I took this, product that we've had. Obviously, people have paid $197 for it at one time, dropped it down to $14, and said, this is really obviously a no-brainer price. Take this. We have had 40% of the people that took that have worked with us on another step. Either they did design services with us, they did another online course, we've done a website for someone, so you can see that that's quite a bit more than $197 or the $14. And so that was a great for us. We got in front of people. We had a ton of people go through that course at the same exact time. So everyone was super excited. Everyone was actually doing the online course and really having a good time with it. So that's our number one, is taking, and so how someone can, take that and use it themselves is, do you have a product that is maybe stagnant at the moment, or something you created that you can repurpose and use again and throw it back out to your audience in a new and fresh way? That's simple, super simple. Get people really excited. So that's number one. Last 6 months, that has been our number one income driver, but I have a ton of them. So if you want me to share more, I can.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that, you had a product and you kind of, you spiffed it up and you spinned it around and presented it in a different way just to make it fresh to not only you and your team, but to your community. So they looked at it differently, and it was a win-win for everybody.
Well, yeah, because when you're excited about something, it's a lot easier to sell it.
Yeah.
If you're not, it's like, oh, great. You want to take Fall in Love with Twitter? I created it in 2013, and, people buy it for $197. Or like, oh my goodness, we have this awesome promo going on right now. We have our Fall in Love with Twitter course. It's Valentine's Day. It's $14. Like, no brainer. You got to jump in. Completely different story, And another one that I just had to share that we've been working on a lot more is we've been doing webinars. Uh-huh. So we've been doing webinars based on the questions that our clients ask us on a regular basis. So hashtags are something that get people hung up all the time. Like, how do I use it? Why do I use it? And we did an entire webinar on hashtags, and we increased our email list by 200 people. And we only had this, we were only promoting it for a week and a half. So 200 people on a webinar in a week and a half is pretty good. And it doesn't take a lot of work, honestly. Like, to throw up a webinar, I actually have a guide on it. If someone wants it, they can totally email me. We listed out exactly how we do it. We don't do this for people, so no sales pitch there, but like, if you want the guide, I can sure send it to you.
Maybe you put it as part of your freebie package. Can you do that?
Awesome.
Okay.
Totally. We'll add that in there. We'll add that in there. So it walks through like our process, how we do it. And that might not work for everyone. That's totally fine. Tweak it for however you want. But that webinar has been the biggest list builder for us, and it gets people in front of us to see us face to face, or kind of face to face, in video form, and get to know our personality rather than just like, hey, here's this random sales page, buy something from us. And at the end of that, each webinar, I have a pitch, really short, sweet, let people know how they can take kind of the next step with us. And again, that has been a moneymaker and an email list builder, and that is just gonna be ready, and that those people hanging out in our list are going to be ready to purchase at some point. And it might take a while. Some people don't always buy the minute they jump on your email list, but nurturing them and then having them purchase, at any point. I hear people say, Derek Halpern actually says this quite a bit, where he says, gather them before you need them. And I think we all feel like we probably need them all right now, but as we're building our email list to do a launch or product or service or whatever, it's good to have those people literally in your back pocket to purchase something at any time.
Well, sure, because people are at different stages, and so it's like you're starting to nurture them. It's like they're getting to know you a little bit. And you give them this little bit of information, and that little bit of information, and then it's like, oh, wow, yeah, that's really good stuff. I never thought about it before. Oh, wow, that's really great stuff. I need this now. Oh, that's really great stuff. I need Tina.
Yeah.
And it just, and it builds and builds and builds. So as the I'll say Twitter queen, what are some quick Twitter tips that you can share with us that are easy to do?
So, one of my faves is creating lists on Twitter. So you can create and basically segment your list, your news feed. And so instead of, I follow 2,000 people on Twitter. That's a lot of people. I'm not going to see everything. And it's going to be a complete time suck if I'm looking at like Ellen DeGeneres's tweets or, Jimmy Fallon or something in the middle of my workday. And so what I do is I create public and private lists that I go and interact with. Okay. So for example, I created a list specifically for people that were at an event. It was called Spark and Hustle with Tori Johnson. And so everyone that was there, anyone that ever uses the hashtag, because then I can track them, I'll put onto the Spark and Hustle list. So I know those ladies are totally my peeps. Like a lot of them know who I am. I've met them in person. We've maybe done business together. Anyway, so I can go just to that list and interact with just those people and see what they're tweeting. So I'll retweet things, I'll answer questions. Now, I would have never seen their posts had I just been looking at my newsfeed. Another thing I use the list for is my current clients. The more I stay in front of my current clients, whether they're taking an online course or whatever, they're going to remember me. And that can be even like a sales, a touch point. How many times do you have to touch someone before they make that sale? If one of those gets to be a tweet, that's awesome, Yeah. And then all the people I know that are currently seeking me to use my services. So if they've said, hey, Tina, I want to work with you. Okay, great. And boom, if they have a Twitter, I'm putting them in that, seekers private list. And I put that one private so then I can interact with them. And so I'm in front of them. And then the last list that I have tons of lists. If anyone takes a course from us or anything, they're part of a list. But another private list that I have is a media one. And so if you ever get a write-up or you want to get a write-up by a particular, editor, writer, whoever, I add them to this media list. So for example, I just got a write-up in our Minnesota Business magazine, and that editor has come back to me 3 times now when she needs like her go-to social media person or small business person, because let's face it, media, like people want something easy and quick and they want their go-to person. So they're not going to go find a bunch of new social media people. Like she found her person, I answer her right away. I help her write her articles. Basically, I'm giving her touch points. And so Emily is on my media list, and so I'm in front of her as much as I possibly can be. She follows me, of course, now too. And so those are the types of people that I'm keeping in that media list, again, kind of in my back pocket. So, I'm in front of them, I guess. And so that's really Twitter lists are like the number one thing that people more than likely don't even know are there, or they're missing out on what they can use them for to be consistent and stay in front of people.
I love that. I mean, I had heard of lists, but I never heard of how to use them like you just shared with us. That's phenomenal.
Yep.
So when you segment those lists, then you can have a different kind of conversation with them and not just make it generic to everybody.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. And public and private, I was taking notes. So if I was looking down, because I was writing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's really good. That's why, I just love doing this, Empowered Women's Prosperity Party, because we're just getting all this brilliance from these women and that one amazing guy. Just, you don't hear it, and like we've just shared now, because we're always busy. We're listening to this, we're listening to that, but here we get all these little great nuggets. And I know you have more nuggets. What party gift do you want to share? We already have one. You said on the webinar. I already talked you into that.
Yep. No, totally. I can share that. I actually have I have a couple. I want to give you as well too. We have a hashtag webinar, like I just mentioned, and I'm going to toss a link in for that as well too, because it's great. Like I could talk about hashtags. I did for an entire hour. So you can listen to that. It was recorded. So when you listen to it, you'll hear that I'm communicating with people. And so we have it's a closed Facebook group called Social Rockstars. And whenever we have a webinar, we do a chat inside of there. So that's what we're talking about. So anyways, when you listen to it, but, the other one that we actually talked about in the beginning was we have a Rock Your Social quiz. And so one of the main questions we get is, well, what social media platforms should I be on? Right. And our best advice is to tell people, pick one that is going to be your number one spot. So like you got an extra 15 minutes and you want to go rock out, some social media and do some marketing, more on a spontaneous level. Now I'm talking, you need to have stuff planned as well too, but like when you have that extra time, what site are you really going to focus on? Mm-hmm. And so we created this quiz. So, it's based on your target market and your industry on which one we choose is your best spot. And we really only focus on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So you can go and take that quiz. It will give you your answer. You'll get it by email. And yeah, so it's just simple, super, super simple. So we'll put that in there as well too.
Oh, thank you. I love that, because it's because everyone just gets so overwhelmed. Oh, I got to be on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, and and then they get all crazed. And how do I do all of that? But here that you direct them. Okay, you start with this one, and the quiz will direct them which one it is based on their target market and their answers. Oh, that's phenomenal. I love that. Thank you for being so generous, and thank you so much for your time. And I want to tell, our party goers here, you want to hear Tena's advice again. So we have, you'll be able to hear the replay for a shorter while, but you want to have her and the other speakers in your success library. And so go to empoweredwomen.com/VIP. So it's, our tag is /VIP to get that gift of having these precious, priceless recordings in your success library. Because, I don't know about you, but I need to hear things more than once. I can't just hear it one time. Mm-hmm. I need to hear it over and over, and then it finally sinks in. And then how sometimes you hear it, you can only take so much information, then you hear it again, same thing, but then now you're ready to hear that next level of information and actually apply it. And that's why these recordings are just absolutely phenomenal to have in your library. And they're only $97 while we're in the promotion and in the party period. And then you'll want to get her gift. And we're going to have it on the gift page. So it's in prosperityparty.com/gifts, where you can get all of the gifts from Tena and the other speakers. Tena, you've just been amazing. I love your share from, how to take care of yourself and do it during business hours, because that's about how to grow yourself, to all your tips on how to grow your business and make money in a simple, easy way. And your strategies are just phenomenal. So thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom, for your brilliance, and for being you. And
course.
I know you probably don't have a glass, but I'm going to cheer to you and to everybody.
I love it.
Have a fabulous day. Thank you.